Never say teach grammar, go to jail. Grammar is evil, but it's limited. That's the point. It has a few functions. It's hard to learn. It's hard to apply. I have hypothesized a long time ago that certain conditions have to be met in order to use grammar, and they are daunting. First, you got to know the rule, and linguists haven't described all the rules. Grammar experts don't know all the rules. The best grammar teachers will admit to you they don't know all the rules. They don't present all the rules. The best students don't learn all the rules, and the ones they learn, they don't always remember. So we're talking about a very small set of possible things to learn. Number two, if you want to use grammar, not only do you have to learn the rule, you've got to be thinking about correctness, which is kind of an unnatural thing to do. It's kind of like patting your head and tapping your tummy at the same time and all that. The grammar people think that we should be thinking about grammar 24/7 all the time, and that the reason we are here on Earth is to produce grammatically correct sentences. Okay, no, not true. So you got to be thinking about it, you've got to know the rule, and you have to have time. In normal conversation, there is rarely enough time. Put yourself in this position. You're a low intermediate speaker of English as a second language, you're having a conversation, and you want to use the tag question. Bill is handsome guy, isn't he? All right? Here's what you have to do.
That's not rhetorical, by the way.
Yeah. Must the other one. Anyway, Senior Woolley's influence. Anyway, what do you got to do? You got to look at the subject. Now, it's Bill. I've got to change it to a pronoun. If it's already a pronoun, you leave it alone. If it's a helping verb, you use the helping verb. Otherwise, you can't use the regular verb. You have to substitute a helping verb. If the sentence is positive, you make tag negative. Sentence is negative, you make tag positive. By the time you do that, your conversational partner is long gone. Okay? So this is really tough to do. These conditions are met only under certain very limited circumstances. Number one, when you give people a grammar test. When you study the rule, you're focused on form, you have time to apply it. And our work, and this is in my best-selling book, soon to be a major motion picture, Second Language Acquisition and Second Language Learning, which came out in 1981. The subtitle is The Cure for Insomnia. If you can't sleep, unless you're one of the 0.001% like me and a few other people, it's not going to be an easy read. It's also available online. Operators are standing by on my website, sdkrashen.com. D is for David, as in no David. Okay? So you can do it on grammar tests, and it's not a grammar test. We find people that don't use grammar very much. The other reason for grammar is for language appreciation. That's another function from it that is completely separate, and that is an appreciation of the wonders of linguistics, etc. I have been in classes where teachers have presented grammar with both in mind. My favorite examples come from TPRS. My introduction to TPRS, Karen Rowan dragged me to TPRS classes. Gotta go to these things. And my Spanish teacher at the time, who was still my model of a wonderful teacher, is Jason Fritze. And I always go to his intermediate Spanish classes. And in one Spanish class, he paused and said in English, by the way, this little O at the end means past tense. It's called pop-up grammar. Now, if you want to use it as a monitor, fine. And you can, apply it, great. It's up to you. If you want to just appreciate it, fine. Also, Karen got me into Linda Lee's Mandarin class, who's also a true living master, in my opinion. And one time, Carol Gobb was in the same class. He's the owner of TPRS Storytelling. Turns out great materials. Linda paused and said, in Mandarin, we don't have an infinitive, we just string the verbs together, which is language appreciation. Carol and I, who really haven't quite recovered from our love affair from grammar, thought that was the most interesting thing anybody could say. The rest of the class, I think, just let it go by. So there we see the two functions. Oh, I left one thing out. Another place where the conditions are met is when we edit our writing. And there are certain places where our grammar of English is slightly different from the accepted grammar. And, like the difference between its and its, where the apostrophe goes there, and there, where the commas go and all that stuff. We don't always get it, and that's a good place to think of rules, but we can only do some of them. So to conclude this hour-long tirade, grammar isn't bad, it isn't evil, it's just hard to use, and we need to recognize that.
Available through McGraw-Hill.com. You can find some of the same ideas. I have to admit, I've known Steve for a long time. He does not